Let's get into the nitty-gritty of the arch and design material and play around with some of the parameters on a deeper level. So first up, we've got the diffuse color. So the diffuse color is the main color of a material that's used to calculate, for example, what color it's going to be outside of its shininess or reflectivity, and also how is it reflecting light onto other surfaces. So diffuse color is the most important color of any material. So I can drop a color in there, change that to something kind of reddish, pinkish color. Okay, and you'll see I'm still getting a highlight there. I can get rid of the highlight just by simply going up to matte finish in my templates. And remember that those top templates at the very top do not change the colors. They just change the reflectivity and refraction properties of the material. Okay, so I've got a diffuse color here now, and it's appearing here in my view. And if I render this now, you'll see we're getting a kind of hot material, one that's a little bit maybe oversaturated. See, the danger is when you're working in 3ds Max that you can crank these colors up to impossible saturation. This is a color that doesn't really exist in nature, or very rarely would exist in nature. So generally speaking, you might want to knock that down a little bit. One way to do that is to simply reduce the diffuse level. And it's a bit of a subtle effect, so I might want to bring this down a little bit further so you can kind of see it. So it's just making it less saturated and a little bit duller so it's not quite so insane. Of course, I can do that by changing the color swatch directly, but this is kind of like an insurance policy, safety factor, so that no matter what I do here, I can't make it too oversaturated. Okay, and the other parameter that I want to point out to you in the diffuse section here is the roughness. And this is very useful for achieving unfinished looks. So if you're dealing with unfinished wood or terracotta or other very rough surfaces, you can increase the roughness factor. And it's going to behave as if there were micro fine granules, not like a bump map because that's a visible pattern, but this is just a sort of overall roughness to the surface rather than a specific bump or normal map. So if we render this now, we can start to get the effect of terracotta or unfinished ceramics. The effect does tend to lend itself best to curved surfaces. You can see on this cone that we're getting a nice kind of soft look there. With rectilinear or flat surfaces, we don't see that much effect to the roughness parameter. So those are some basic simple things you can do with the diffuse section of the arch and design material.